Hello everyone, welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes day where we are going to see how far we can get. Let's see here. First of all, I wanted to thank those 2 subscribers who've joined this adventure. I'm assuming if you joined for my other videos, that's awesome. Welcome. We got 2 new subscribers, which is great, so thank you again. Alright, let's get our crystals for today. Start our arenas outright. Alright, let's bring it down a little bit. Here we go. Alright, so how's your day been going? And how's, for those who've been following and started anything on your new accounts, how's it going for you? Are you running into any roadblocks or whatnot? Or are you progressing pretty well? I'm very curious. Alright, so let's get that out of the way. Whoop. No, we don't want to friend you. Sorry. Let's get our bronzium. Gear. Finish. Shipments for your other gear. Okay, so actually when we get our daily, we'll be able to get more shards for him. Perfect. So we'll claim that. We'll get more. Sweet. And then, let's see, Ezra, you're about to be to 4 stars. So let's boost that. Close. There we go. Let's check our gear real quick. Let's see here. She is 5, 4, 5. About to be 6. That is cool. 5. Alright. Can we get Zeb higher? We can. Light side. Oh, this is really cool. A little fun tip. You know how we have for our dailies, we have to get, dark side and light side fights done. Well, if you, there's some nodes where you can get on the dark side and light side, and they happen to be hard. So it's not the ideal because we're not getting, we're sort of like wasting shards on getting other people that we should be getting. But in this case, I'm wanting to sort of take this out, so that takes care of our light side, and then we can just do our dark side. Boom. Because I have a feeling we'll be needing those as well for other characters. So there we go. We got our light and dark side out of the way. So that's a little fun tip there for you guys. We need light side hard. Okay. We might need to do some node unlocking for that. Events. Emperor's Demise, we already done. Alright, let's learn the resistance. Okay, so we have Rey, Poe. Okay, so wonder if there's a time gated event too. So alright, remember when Rey was just owning us just because she had so many buffs? This is why. Deals physical damage to target enemy with a 40% chance to gain foresight for 2 turns. Foresight, member, is the little eyeball, and that means that she can dodge. Deals physical damage to target enemy. In addition, Rey gains foresight for 2 turns if she doesn't have any positive status effects, and offense up for 3 turns if she does. So Physical damage to target enemy twice with a 50% chance to deal damage a third time. If Rey has any positive status effects, she will deal damage one additional time. Hits after the first deal reduced damage. So basically, you know, if she gets buffed majorly, she basically can hit potentially 3 times. So yeah. As long as she has no debuffs, Rey has a 25% chance offense inflicts daze for 2 turns, whether she uses a special ability. This effect cannot be resisted. So one of these here. So if she uses flurry of blows with buffs and no debuffs, yeah, that's why she hits like a truck. Here's Poe. Basic deals physical damage to target enemy with a 40% chance to inflict offense down 2 turns. This chance is doubled if the target is suffering any negative status effects. So, you know, resistance is like buff yourself as best you can so you can just hit them hard. Taunt for 2 turns and removes 25% Terminator from each enemy. That is a really nice skill with a 25% chance to actually expose them for 2 turns. That's also a good one as well. Resistance allies gain 25% offense and 50% potency. So let's do the math real quick. 25% offense, and then with Rey, Rey has a 25% offense. So that's just her passive. Paired with Poe, she has a 50% offense. So just alone, she's already dealt. She's gonna deal tons of damage. So that's with the leader, and then here's his unique. Poe has a 22% tenacity and recovers 7.5 of his max health whenever he resists a negative status effect debuffs. If Finn is present, he also gains these bonuses. So, you know, so it's Finn with him, you know, this like a shared passive. So there are some characters that have this ability, which is cool. Whether Poe loses taunt, Finn gains taunt for 1 turn. So as you can see, having Poe and Finn together is probably a good idea because they can bounce off each other. And we start working on this guy on one of our hard modes. So physical damage to target enemy with a 65% chance to expose them. So as you can see, there's a lot of exposes going around, which is quite interesting because that means that the enemy is more susceptible to damage. Deals physical damage to target enemy and dispels all buffs on them. Yeah, so a buff dispeller with a 50% chance to inflict speed down for 2 turns. Another debuff. This ability cooldown is reduced by 2 if the target suffers any negative status effects. So it removes debuffs and also has a chance to inflict speed down. And if your ability is reduced by 2, say it's a cooldown of 4. So if we are able to land that status effect of speed down, it only has to cool down 2 times instead of 4. So yeah. Resistance Trooper has a 10% potency and gains 55% turn meter when an enemy who's not exposed becomes exposed. So ties in well with Poe, who exposes them with this ability. Yeah. So a little crazy there. So let's jump in. Enemy suffering from exposed debuffs will take additional damage when they attack. Let me show you how. So we'll use this ability. We'll use boom. See, there's the exposed. This one right here. Now we're going to use the double tap and maybe triple tap. And there we go. Now we're going to use this to expose everybody right here. Now since they're exposed, we'll deal extra damage. Boom, boom. And there we go. Alright, since she's the leader, but he has turn meter, so let's take him. There we go. He has he has taunt. Oof. Okay, so there's exposed there. Basic. Yeah, and this is another faction where I'm not 100% familiar with them, so I'm sort of like just pressing buttons. There's a, this is, you know, foresight. So, yeah, let's do this. Boop. There's the expose. You know, more damage. So let's see if we can get exposed. No, we can't. Alrighty. Let's use our basic. Oh wow, okay. Get exposed. Alrighty. We're not landing those exposes. There it goes, she's out. There's expose. Speed down. Foresight. Yeah, I saw that those numbers are there. There we go. Let's check our squads. Perfect. And we'll just have one more. We'll see how far we can get with that resistance. No. Alright, here's Poe and Finn now. So remember, Poe bounces off well with Finn, and then BB-8. So let's look at Finn's abilities. Deals physical damage to target enemy. This attack deals 100% more damage to enemies, whether they have already been struck by. So basically, if you can get your basic off first before any of your allies hit them, it deals extra damage. So yeah. Finn gains advantage and defense up for 2 turns and dispels all debuffs from all allies. Finn and Poe Dameron gain heal over time 20% for 2 turns. So if there are any debuffs on our team, he's a debuff cleanser for the whole team, which is a little bit ridiculous. Deals physical damage to target enemy and exposes them for 2 turns with an 80% chance to stun them for 1 turn. Resistance allies gains 30% offense. Okay, so Rey has 25%. With Finn in a mix as a leader, that's jumped up to 55. So having him as the leader typically is much better than having Finn. Finn as the leader versus Poe. So that's why if you're going in arenas or you're watching a video and you're seeing that Finn is typically the leader, that is why, because there's so many more benefits for him being a leader. 60% defense and other allies gain half of that amount. Whether a resistance ally loses foresight, the eyeball, they gain advantage for 2 turns, and whether an enemy takes damage from exposed, they reduce the cooldowns of all resistance allies by 1 and grant them 35% turn meter. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. So if they don't have an eyeball, they gain advantage for 2 turns. Whenever an enemy takes damage from exposed, so let's say Poe, does his little taunt and everyone has the exposed icon. Whenever an enemy takes damage from that, like a basic, that reduces everyone's abilities on your team by 1. So remember, the trooper has a 4 round cooldown. His ability goes down by half. you know, if he lands the you know, the expose. But then if he does the damage with his exposed enemy, is bring down to 1. So basically, if you can loop it correctly, that trooper can land exposes and deal damage and only have 1 cooldown. It's a little bit ridiculous. Alright, let's look at BB-8s. Okay, Arc Welder deal physical damage to target enemy, inflicts tenacity down for 2 turns. Tenacity basically is being able to resist debuffs. PB-8 and random ally who doesn't have it gain the secret intel unique buff for 3 turns. When BB-8 gains 80% terminated for each ally with secret intel. So basically the idea is you want to you know, convert all this and send it to all your allies. So secret intel gives 25% potency, and when another ally uses a special ability, they gain secret intel for 3 turns. Then the cooldown for Illuminated Destiny is reduced by 1 for each ally with secret intel. So try to spread this first, and then when they use a special ability, i.e. taunt or an expose, they get secret intel, which gives them 25% potency. Illuminated Destiny dispels all debuffs on all allies and exposes all enemies for 2 turns. All allies gain 80% turn meter and gain offense up and speed up for 4 turns. Droid and resistance allies recover 20% protection, and this ability starts on cooldown and cannot be evaded. Whenever a droid ally scores a critical hit, reduces the cooldown of this ability by 1. So if we were using a resistance faction, he works well. If we were using a droid faction, he works well with that. BB-8 has an 80% counter chance. And then looks like when BB-8 takes damage, he has a 50% chance to gain foresight for 2 turns. At the start of each encounter, if AB is active, droid allies gain 8% turn meter for each active droid ally. So, yeah. He's a little bit ridiculous as well. Alright, so we're going to convert data. So now when he uses a special, it activates. So let's do this. We gain advantage, and there we go. We got that little ability there. We're going to use the taunt to expose. Damage. There we go. See, tenacity down. Now, offense down. Now, strike. Stun. Alright, so let's do this since he has expose on. Oh, we missed. That's weird. We don't have any debuffs, but let's do that again. Advantage. Roll. Can't expose yet. Tenacity down. Boop. Alright. There we go. There we go. We go like that. Nope. There we go. Give that to Poe. There's a stun. Alright, here's Illuminated Destiny. There we go. I should have. Okay, again, I should. There's a stun. Look at that damage. So resistance takes a little bit to start going, but as you saw there, once we got the stuns, it was just downhill from there. You just, you know, they couldn't do anything and we get going. So here we go. So the idea is, I think Finn will be buffing Rey as well as BB-8 buffing Rey, and so she's just going to be a power machine and just wipe through everybody. Zeta ability upgrades. Okay, so Zetas are like in game. So once you see how BB-8 is at 85 at the bottom left, once you get your abilities up to max, you know how we level up using the green and blue little doodads to upgrade them. There's another ability where it says requires Zeta, and that basically makes it the ability evolve into something even better. So this is a little tutorial with that. Alright, so we'll roll with the punches. Boom boom. Let's gain advantage. Do that. Triple hit. Nice. There. There's the expose. And yeah, that dealt a lot of damage. Now see down. Let's do this. Gain advantage. Roll. And yeah, see. when we don't have that many buffs, but as you can see, we're dealing a good chunk of damage to these people. There's the expose. He's almost down. Boop, boop. Crits. I don't want to waste that, so let's use our basics. There we go. Triple. Nice. Stuns. Boom. Illuminated Destiny is almost coming up. Advantage, there we go. I don't want to use it quite yet. Look at that, 24,000 damage, if you could read that real quick. Yeah, okay, here's our buffs. Yeah, we're just going 35,000. Slow moving train, but very effective. Yes. Cool, we got our arenas out of the way. We have about 5 minutes left in this video, so after we finish this arena, I'll try to squeeze in a quick Galactic War table real quick, because we need to do that to get our daily. So once we die, there we go. Get our store up. Galactic War, restart, do this here. Oh, okay, so if I saw correctly, we were going against Jango Fett. He's a bounty hunter. He used to be a marquee character. Again, marquee means the game released it to everybody to only get him to 3 stars, but then if you wanted to pay for real currency, you can unlock him to 7 stars or wait until there's a node for him later. So what he does is basically he's a leader. He's a good leader for the bounty hunters. He does his signature flamethrower. If you haven't seen the Star Wars movies, he has a little flamethrower pack, and it does a lot of burn damage, just like R2-D2. We'll dispel that because I want to get rid of you healer. And then I want to work on you Lando. There we go, there's a counter strike. Boom. Boop. Perfect. Again, use basics on the final person so everything else can go on, can stop going off cooldown until the next fight. There we go. Dailies are out of the way. Let's claim these. Boom. Alright, resistance again. Okay, so Finn is the leader, which is what's supposed to happen, so he's going to give everyone offense up. So we'll see how the trooper works in action. Okay, so convert data, damage, expose everybody. Now, strike, hold the line, boom, triple tap. There we go. So, who shall we hit with expose? You. We'll hit you. We'll hit you. Send over. We'll hit you with a triple tap. Boom. Boop. Stun you. No exposes there. Boop. Speed down. Double hit. You saw how quick we were using our abilities? Yeah. Now we have expose on them again. So let's just go down the lane. Pop. Let's stun you. Let's hit you. Let's boop. We got exposed again. Pop. Stun you. Let's triple tap you. Expose again. Bop. And let's stun. Double hit. Expose. Roll with the punches. Pap. Triple. Limited data stay again. Stunned. Bap. Double tap and 36,000 damage. Yes. So resistance is pretty good, but it takes a while to build them up, and you have to have the right team comp to actually be effective. But when you do, it's nasty. Alright, so that's the resistance there. So yeah. Perfect. We'll stop the video there. Let's see, we're at 8.5 million. That's ridiculous. And yeah, so what I'll do is I'll finish up doing the Galactic War table. I'll put in three refreshes on this guy here. So in 4.5 hours, you know, it'll reset by itself, and I'll be able to buy more Zeb, and then another 4.5 hours or 5, you'll go. So I'll go into details on the resets on that a little bit later in a different video, because don't want to go into that yet because we're out of time for this video. Let's see if we can squeeze in another. That's 6. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Well, thanks for coming out and watching. And again, thanks for the 2 new subs who've joined. Welcome, and hopefully you can stick around. It'll be fun. Don't feel like you have to, but it's great. Have a good one and be safe out there.